All right, here we go. It is one of those things. The times when I have tech issues, it seems to only happen on Wednesdays. Cross my fingers. But about 10 minutes late, but here nevertheless. I am Coach James. I'm the creator and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics, which is a science program that uses Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics related topics, including but not limited to friction, force, aerodynamics, drag, lift, Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, kinetic energy, potential energy, elastic force. After we have conducted all kinds of experiments to drive home those concepts and had discussions, then I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student has the opportunity to select a Hot Wheels car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything that they have learned in the class. Once they have selected their cars, they weigh their cars, they test the speed of their cars, they check the materials the car is made from, and they enter all of that information into a spreadsheet, and then all that's left to do is take the cars to our 1/64th scale quarter-mile drag strip and race the cars. The students race the cars, and they have the opportunity to see how their cars perform. Did their cars perform up to or below their expectations? And if they had the opportunity, would they select that same car again, or would they make a different selection based on everything they've learned in the course? In the end, we have fun with Hot Wheels cars, and we learn about science. What could be better? If you would like more information about our science program and how to bring it to your school or your organization or your special event, you can go to our website, aerodynamics.com, or you can follow us on Instagram, Aerodynamics, and all of the information you need to contact us is in the bio. But this is not all about aerodynamics. It's all about Aerodynamics Presents Wind Tunnel Wednesday. So what is that? Well, we have the Funtech Labs 1/64th scale wind tunnel, otherwise known as the Windsible, and we're able to take our Hot Wheels cars, Matchbox cars, and sometimes some other models of cars, put those into the wind tunnel, turn it on, see how the air flows over, under, and around those cars, and get an idea about how much drag is likely to impact those cars when they race. Well, when do they race? Every Saturday at AtTheTrack.live, we have live Hot Wheels racing, and the part that is most special about that, there's Hot Wheels racing all over YouTube, is that we give you the opportunity to select a car and participate in the races. All you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live. You select the Choose Your Car option, and you will be taken to this page. On this page, actually now it's separated into multiple pages, but on these pages, all of the cars that are currently in the All About Aerodynamics at the Track Live fleet are listed and numbered and cataloged. All you have to do is find the car that you want to see either in the wind tunnel today or race on the track on Saturday, and you just take the number of that car. So if you decide number 81, the Scorcher, you can click on it, you can take a look at it, see it up close, and if that's the car that you want to race, you take that number 81, drop it in the chat. I will pull the car. And today, we'll put that car in the wind tunnel. On Saturday, we will put that car on the track. And you will have the opportunity to go up against all of the other cars that are selected by viewers, all of the cars that I introduce new into our fleet. And we will see which car comes out on top. The car that wins the tournament on Saturday has the opportunity to take on our fastest in fleet car. And our fastest in fleet car is still this one. See if it'll, there we go. Hit this. Let's get it in centered up. It is the BlitzSpeeder. The BlitzSpeeder is our fastest in fleet car. It is the car that has won the Saturday tournament each of the last, basically for about the last month now. It is the absolute, well, not the absolute. It has been champion longer than any other car. This is currently, it's in its 4th stint as fastest in fleet champion. And the races that it's had have not been close. This car is uniquely fast, and really it's been beaten in the past, but the cars that have beaten it have then also been beaten, and we've ended up right back where we started with the BlitzSpeeder as the champion. So part of what makes this car so fast is its great aerodynamic profile, and when we put the car in the wind tunnel, we will see that. And why that's important is because drag is the most important force impacting these cars as they go down our track. Any car that can reduce the impact of drag is going to have an opportunity to keep its speed up, maintain its momentum, and perform better on the track. And that is the case with the BlitzSpeeder. So let's go ahead and throw this in the wind tunnel. Our fastest in fleet car always goes into the wind tunnel first, and the BlitzSpeeder has been that fastest in fleet car more often than not. So let me grab this, switch over to the wind tunnel, get the BlitzSpeeder positioned here, and take a look at what exactly makes this car so unique and so special. It is very much it absolutely has the best aerodynamic profile we've seen. And as we fire up the wind tunnel, we will see here, starting off with our cruising speed of 67 miles per hour, we can just see how the air is flowing over the car. But as we turn the speed up, we're up to 107 miles per hour. And what we always see with the BlitzSpeeder, is as we turn the airspeed up, we see this first smoke stream hits right just above the nose of the car, hits the hood, comes up across the hood to the windshield, up the windshield, across the roof line, straight across this back, which doesn't angle down very much. It's pretty much a situation where the roof line flows straight to the back to this wing, and then the air tails off the wing right there. There is no disruption to that airflow as we push the speed up to 147 miles per hour. And again, that what we're looking for and looking at with the BlitzSpeeder is how that airflow stays attached to the body of the car and just flows right along from the front to the back and right off the tail. When we put other cars in here, there's usually a point at which the air detaches from the body of the car, or there's some other, you see turbulent air, which is what we see at the back of the cars when the air is pulling off. But if you see that at any other point on the car, it's not a good sign. You're going to push this up to 174 miles per hour. And the BlitzSpeeder, it's an ideal aerodynamic profile. We haven't really seen a car with a better aerodynamic profile than the BlitzSpeeder. There have been a couple others that have been really good. We had a Porsche a couple weeks ago. That was really good, but it was not BlitzSpeeder good. So we're gonna look at a couple of cars that we just introduced into the fleet on Saturday. So we have two different kinds of cars that end up in the wind tunnel. There's cars that are already in the fleet, so we look at them in the wind tunnel first, and then we end up putting them on the track to see how they'll perform. And then the other group are cars that we have just opened up on Saturday for the races. We see how they perform on the track, And then we are trying to see why they perform the way they did, if there's something that we can see. So the next car up we are going to check out just raced on Saturday. As wind this down, the BlitzSpeeder. So that sort of sets the baseline. I mean, it's kind of a high baseline, but it sets the tone for what we're looking for with these cars and their aerodynamic profiles. So this Tesla Roadster, we introduced this and on Saturday, new to the fleet, and traditionally, at least the actual cars, the real Teslas, have very good aerodynamic profiles, low drag coefficients, all of that. Sometimes those aerodynamic properties and profiles, they translate to the Hot Wheels cars, to the 1/64th scale cars. Sometimes they don't. We're going to find out with this one if it translates. This car did okay on the track. It did not, ultimately, it did not beat the BlitzSpeeder out. The BlitzSpeeder remained champion. But we are going to take a look and see the kind of aerodynamic profile on this Tesla. Let's check it out. Switch over here. Drop it in. Make sure it's straight. And okay. We've got the Tesla lined up. Tesla Roadster. The aerodynamic profile on this, the shape and style, very reminiscent of, kind of close to some of the Ferraris, the Lotuses we've had in. And at our cruising speed, 67 miles per hour, we see that the airflow is pretty good, but that's not the key. The key and the thing that we're looking for is what happens at higher speeds, because that is when drag has the most impact. So let's go ahead and turn this speed up. And at higher speeds, that's also when we're more likely to see the airflow detaching from the body of the car. And what we see here is we can start to see it right at the back part of the roof. The air is kind of separating from the body of the car. And that's usually, in most cars, we're at 121 miles per hour, pushing this up to 147. That's usually where we see it, usually where we see the separation. This is not bad. This is not bad. On some of the other cars, you can really see it, but the air is flowing up over the hood, to the windshield, to the roof, and it's staying pretty well attached. There isn't, sometimes when the detachment of that airflow is on certain cars, it's extremely pronounced. It's very easy to see. On this one, it's slight. It's better than this car. The profile is better than most. We're pushing this up to 161 miles per hour. And then, of course, we get that turbulence at the back end as the air pulls off of the car. And we're going to go up to 174 miles per hour. And this car, it didn't perform poorly on the track. It had a very, very decent performance, but we did have a car that outperformed our expectations. And as I wind this down with the Tesla Roadster, we'll take a look at a car that did much better than expected, and it is this one. It is this Volvo P1800 Gasser. And this one was unique for a number of reasons. So we're going to start off with the fact that it's got two different wheel types. It's got these wide kind of racing slick tires at the back, and then it's got the little skinny thin disc wheels at the front. So it's got much wider. These are wider than the standard Hot Wheels wheels, and these are far skinnier than the standard Hot Wheels wheels. So this is at two kind of extremes, kind of both ends of that spectrum there. We have the 1800, the Volvo P1800 Gasser. It's got the stance where it is raised up in the front, and my expectation and my thought was that the stance was going to result in a lot of air building up in the front of this car and trying to find its way over, under, and around. Plus we had the engine sticking up prominently, that all of that was going to work against this car's forward momentum. But it turns out that this car actually performed very well. So we're going to stick it in the wind tunnel and see if we can figure out or see anything that gives any indication from an aerodynamic standpoint why this car performed the way that it did. So let's go ahead and check this out. Hey, Roughshod. Let's see, getting this gasser in here. This is, there's always those cars that you never know exactly what you're gonna get, and this is definitely one. My expectations were pretty low, and turns out this was one of our sleeper cars. Let me get it. I can get it to stay put. Have a feeling it's going to roll when I close this. Yeah. Well, time to pull out the magnet. Drop that down. Sit this here. Keep it in place. Interesting thing is the front part of the car is actually so tall that even putting the magnet underneath it doesn't really change much, because the wheels are actually still touching the ground, but it should hold it in place, keep it from rolling forward. All right, let's go ahead. Hey, Christopher. Go ahead and fire this on up. 67 miles per hour, cruising speed. And it's not really telling us a whole lot, but we usually can't tell all that much at low speeds because drag increases with speed. So we got to turn this up to 134 miles per hour. And there's just a lot of turbulence right in this area. That engine sticking up, the airflow. So we can see right there from the top view that it doesn't look all that like all that much is going on, but we can see when we bring it down how that airflow gets disrupted right here. Once the air hits that, interacts with the engine, then the airflow is kind of a mess. It picks up a little bit right back here at the roof line, and then kind of breaks away from the body of the car. We're going to push the speed up to 161, and now you can just see the air kind of fluttering around. It's very turbulent. You can see some of the turbulence there. And it's just not, all that does is increase drag. And the fact that this car was still able to perform well on the track, it just goes to show that drag is not the only factor to consider, but it's a huge factor, and it's the reason why a car like this, even if it's performing well, is not going to beat, in all likelihood, a car like the BlitzSpeeder, because drag will come into play. And on our track, we usually see it play out at the back end, the last third. We're up to 161 miles per hour. Got the gasser moving, and now it is in our fleet. It is available to be selected in future races. Well, also what I'm noticing is, it's a little hard to see there, but the air with this stance that the car has, there is air that is flowing from underneath the car out this way and then past the wheels. So it's a little interesting that this car, it definitely has a unique stance, and it is it's one of the newest cars in our fleet. It can probably beat a good majority of the cars that we've raced, at least the ones I can think of that we've raced recently. But it's just, I think it still always comes down to the matchups, and the matchups matter, just like every sport. Matchups matter, and it really just depends. If this car is going up against one with a really, really good, solid aerodynamic profile, and everything else is more or less similar, then I would take the car with the better aerodynamic profile, because it's going to have less drag. Drag is going to impact it less, and therefore it's going to have a better shot to win. Another car that we introduced on Saturday, new to the fleet, was this one. And this is the Twin Mill 3. Yeah, the Twin Mill 3. This is from the new Pantone color series. And I haven't seen, this was the only one they had at the store when I was there, so I haven't seen any of the other cars that they have in the fleet. I would presume they're all sort of standard colors. It's probably a green, a blue, a white, a yellow, maybe a black. There's 6 of them, but of course on the packaging they're all in black and white. So I haven't seen any of the others. I saw this one, and it adds to our Twin Mill lineup. We've got Super Twin Mills, Twin Mill, the Twin Mill Gen E, and this is the latest of the Twin Mills. I think the good thing with this one is that the engines sticking up are not as wide. If we compare it to the engine on the gasser, it's sticking up, or even on the other Twin Mills, or something like a Roger Dodger, the engine is definitely not as set up to interfere with the airflow as it is on those other cars. So let's go ahead and throw it in the wind tunnel and see what do we get. Let's go ahead and I'll just leave this one. I'll leave it right there. It's another good looking car. I mean, Twin Mill, it's still got the same, they all have the same basic design, and this is one that if you've been to or had an opportunity to go to the Hot Wheels Legends Tour or some other Hot Wheels exhibit, the twin mill is one of the cars that they have built they've built a full-size version of, and seeing it in person, it's kind of cool. I don't know how practical it would be. It actually drives, but how you make those, how you can make a right turn, I don't know. I guess you're just guessing, because that engine on the right is going to be blocking your view. But nevertheless, checking out the Twin Mill 3, and this is at 67 miles per hour. Nice basic cruising speeds. Go ahead and push this up. And we're seeing, and I'm also gonna drop this in without the magnet, because this separation, we're up to 107 miles per hour. And the air is coming in, and it doesn't really interact with the car until we get back here to the driver's cockpit area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this thing down to ground level. Hopefully it will stay in place, and be able to see what this exactly how the air is interacting with this car. So again, back up to 67. So now we have that first air streams hitting right on the nose, and you see some of the air is coming up over the top. So let's go ahead and push the speed up and see what the air starts to do at higher speeds. So this is interesting because we can see that the air appears to be hitting right at the nose, coming up over the top, and then here we can see this turbulence, and then some of the air is spilling off the side. And I'm trying to tell if that is air spilling off the top coming down, or if that's some of the air that went underneath coming out. It's a little tough to see. It may be coming from beneath. Yeah, I think that gives a... Yeah, we can see air coming out from beneath. And there we go with the Windsible deciding, it's had enough. But no, there's still much more to see with this one. And I want to see... Yeah, this one I like the design. I like the design of the twin mill. The one I really like that super twin mill, which we do have in the fleet. I think what seems to be happening here, and you can see it. You can see some of the air right here when it's coming over the top, dropping down. I think that there's air coming from underneath that's coming up, and air from the top that's dropping down, and it seems to be kind of interacting both streams right in this area. Let's go ahead and push this up. And I think what we may also be getting is the effect of this kind of indented area right here, this little pocket that's right there. That seems to be having an impact. definitely a unique. We're up to 147 miles per hour, pushing it up to 161. And so, unlike with the BlitzSpeeder, you don't really see it, but with other cars you do. Any point where there's this turbulent air, where it's just kind of swirling around, is going to be an indication that there's going to be more drag that this car is going to be dealing with. And it's interesting also because with the shape of this car and the design of this car, just looking at it, before we put it in the wind tunnel, it would seem that it would have a better aerodynamic profile, that it would be able to sort of cut through the air, but that's not always the case. And this car, based on the performance on our track on Saturday, it wasn't anything particularly that blew us away. So it was pretty much a standard kind of performance. So the looks, don't let the looks fool you all the time. I know it tricks me. Sometimes I'll just look at a car and think, yeah, this is going to be our next champion. And it doesn't work out like that. Pushing this up to 174. And that is the Twin Mill 3. We are next going to pull up one of the cars that Christopher is considering racing on Saturday, which is this Lamborghini Sian. And there we go. Pretty standard Lambo situation here. And I think that we have a lot of Lamborghinis in the fleet, but they're all just different enough that they present kind of unique and different aerodynamic profiles and perform differently on the track. We have Lamborghini, we have coupes, we have some with wings, some without wings, some that are a little longer, some that are a little more narrow. But we're going to see what happens with this one in the wind tunnel. And I don't remember, this one has definitely raced on our track because it's car number 827, and that is probably a good year or so into At the Track. So we are at we have 1,034 cars in the fleet. We started At the Track Live on car about number 450. So this one would have shown up about halfway through. And let's go ahead and get it set up. I like the look of this one. Lamborghinis, you can't really go wrong. You know you're going to be, if you pick a Lamborghini on our track, you know that you're at least going to be in the mix. You're going to be in the game. You're going to have a shot. As we see with this one sits very low. So putting it on the magnet might actually be a little more useful and helpful. 67 miles per hour. We're going to push this speed up. We're up to 94 miles per hour. We can do better than that. Let's hit 107, 121 and see what exactly we see. Hey Socks, how you doing? We are looking at pretty good aerodynamic profile right here, but it's a Lamborghini, so you know you're going to get that. 134 pushing it up. Now what we do see, and are starting to see, is that separation, that airflow separation that probably doesn't happen on the actual Lamborghini, but it's happening on the Hot Wheels version because there are things that the Hot Wheels cars do not do that the actual Lamborghinis, have as far as the ability to control the airflow. So we see right here that airflow is breaking away right at the back of the roof line, which is typically where we see it. We're up to 147 miles per hour. I'm pushing this up to 174. And that airflow is breaking away. And what we don't see, rather, with cars like the BlitzSpeeder. With the BlitzSpeeder, the reason why we don't see that air pulling away is because the BlitzSpeeder does not dip down like this. The BlitzSpeeder, that roof line continues straight, and then it has that wing on the back. So the air just stays attached to the roof of the car and continues all the way to the end. This car, even though it's subtle, it does dip down, and that gives that air a chance to break away right there. And when the air breaks away from following the lines of the body, there's going to be a pressure difference. There's going to be lower pressure here, and it is going to create this pressure drag that works against the forward momentum of the car. So that is one of the key issues that we're going to have. Christopher, you want to raise this up? So here, we'll drop this down, and we'll actually raise this thing up so that we can see how the car interacts with some of the other air streams. Maybe it was just sitting too low. Maybe we'll get a whole different look and perspective by raising the car up just a bit. Let me make sure it's centered. It is just about right there. All right. Now let's go ahead and take a look. That's a great looking car. All right, but let's see. Now that we've raised it up a little bit, so let's see if we still see the same things. We are at 121 miles per hour, and now we're getting a different look. It's better because now we have the first stream that's hitting directly on the nose of the car, and we can see that air, well, we could see, and then the Windsible said, I'm turning off, but I've got a switch, so I'm turning you back on. And we're going to fire this thing up. Being a little, keeps turning, going back down, but I'm going to fire this right back up. Let's go. All right, so we're pushing this up to 134 miles per hour. And yeah, so this is definitely a better look because that air is hitting on the nose, the air that's coming up over the top, coming up over the hood, the windshield to the roof line, and now right here we're not seeing that same degree of separation. Looks good. Let's hit it, push it up to 161 miles per hour. And at 161, we do see the separation right here, that same separation, but it's not as pronounced as it was when we had it had the car lowered. but you can still see that it is occurring there. The question is, how much will that ultimately impact this car? So this is, it's a good aerodynamic profile. Is it good enough to beat our top cars? Hard to say. We won't know until this car hits the track, but this car might not hit the track because Christopher is also considering another car, a Maserati, which we are going to take a look at. Wind this down. So it's not so much that the smoke is that it's coming out of the bottom of the car. It's just that when I raise it up, now the air, some of the air is going over the top of the car, but some, of course, is going underneath, and it comes out right about this point. It's coming out and then streaking up past the wheels, but we can't really judge too much about the air flow underneath the car, especially when I put the magnet there, because the magnet definitely interrupts the airflow. So it does it does make a difference. The other car that he's considering is this one right here. It is this Maserati. It said MC12, or yeah, MC12 on the bottom. I presume that is what this car is, but it's a pretty interesting car because the windshield is up at a very it's the angle is not as low as on some of the other cars that we see of this kind, like more of the hypercar style. So let's go ahead and throw this one in the wind tunnel, and we will see what we get. This one's a little tall. Well, we'll start it off. We'll just sit. Well, yeah, I'll leave it on the magnet, and we can take a look. See what we see from this Maserati. And all right, got it lined up, and let's see. Is this the, let me double check, is this the Matchbox version of this? No, this one's the Hot Wheels version. I don't think I've seen the Matchbox version. If I do have it, I just haven't pulled it out of storage yet. But it's always interesting to race the same cars made by Matchbox and Hot Wheels, even though Mattel makes both cars, but there are definitely differences. All right, let's see what we see here. This Maserati at the low speed, 67 miles per hour. And maybe when I'm looking at the car from this angle, it's not as, that angle on the windshield isn't as bad as I thought. This is at 107 miles per hour, pushing it up to 121. $134, $147, and this is interesting because even when the air would start to typically kind of break away from the body of the car, it's breaking away, but then it's catching right here at this wing, and then kind of being directed underneath. A little bit's coming over, but that is interesting as we turn this up to 174 miles per hour. Without that wing, I think we would see that airflow just kind of break away a lot more, with a little bit of what we saw with the Lamborghini. So this is actually interesting and shows how having a tail at the back end of the car can impact that airflow. This car is not too wide, although I can check it right after this, just to make sure that wing is not too wide. So let's see. So we have these cars. Let me grab roughshod 696. Right, let's see. We are going to take a look at the car that Roughshod's considering. The first one. Oh, this is this first one that he's looking at is one that gets picked. I have a few of these in the fleet, and they get picked somewhat regularly, but not necessarily this one. Although of these, this is probably the one to pick. It is a nerve hammer, but it is a nerve hammer with the faster than ever wheels. And of course, the faster than ever wheels means that this car has nickel-plated axles, which lead to less friction, and ultimately that allows the wheels to spin faster and freer with less issues. Christopher, I just checked that Maserati and it does fit, so if that's the car that you choose, it can fit into the launcher. But let's check out this nerve hammer and see what its aerodynamic profile is all about. Switching over here, we'll drop it on the magnet. Gives us some flexibility. I like it with the magnet is we can raise the cars up, keep them down, whatever we need to do to get the best kind of view. This nerve hammer, it's kind of got clear plastic body. It's on a metal base, and it looks good. Okay, Christopher is locking in with the Maserati. So there we go. We will see that one on the track on Saturday. Now we're going to see what Roughshod ends up going with. So at our cruising speed, can't really tell all that much. We've got to push these speeds up. That is when drag has an impact, and that is when the wind tunnel can start to tell us some things. Oh, there we go again, this thing. It is easily the most temperamental piece of, I guess we could consider this tech that I own. And I have no reason why it just cuts off, but it does. But usually we can fire it right back up. 107 miles per hour. What I'm really waiting to see some definition on is what's happening with the air at the back of the car, like just past the roof line. Like we see that it's coming up over the hood, the windshield, and then up to the roof line. And then here it gets a little muddy. So let's see if turning up the speed can clear any of that up. Yeah, it's definitely a good, when we get that right mix of the air flowing up from the bottom of the car and coming off the back, and we get this spiral, this turbulence, but it's very sort of that controlled kind of spiral. It's a nice effect. Pushing this up to 147 miles per hour. And so we can see just a little bit of turbulence down here by the wing, but that air is kind of, it looks like it's coming off of the roof and really just flowing over the wing. This wing's not sticking up. If it were up higher, then we might see some more specific interaction, but this just seems like that air is flowing right up over. And can actually try, I will drop this down and we'll take a look without the magnet and see if that makes a difference. See what we can see. See if there is any difference. Just running this. But I think that this car, with the faster than ever, I know the regular, there's another version that I think we've probably run this, but the one that I've had more students pick is the one that is purple and gold, and they call it the Lakers car. Some kids have called it the Kobe car, and that one gets picked more frequently. But again, this is the one. If you're gonna pick a nerve hammer, this is the one to pick. Let's see without the magnet what it looks like. I'm gonna push this on up, and I think we're seeing some of the same things happening. The air is hitting a little lower on the bumper, or right on the nose. Still coming up over the top, and you just see we're at 121 miles per hour. I'll push this up. And so some of the air that is escaping, the air is hitting right at the nose. Some's going underneath, some's coming up over the top. And the air that's underneath, you can see it leaking, coming back out around the car. There are no, well, actually, let's see. Seeing a little bit of turbulence right here at the base. That transition between the hood and the windshield coming up over the top. There is a little bit of interaction with like that turbulent air as it drops off and does interact a bit with that wing. That wing is definitely not raised up as high as it is on some of the other cars we've seen. You can kind of see right there a little bit better how that airflow is happening. And now remember, we removed the magnet from this car, so there's nothing underneath, so that the way that air is coming out in these areas, this is not something that we've seen on some of the other cars. Well, thinking specifically about the BlitzSpeeder, but with most of these cars, we have them raised up on the magnet, and if we don't, the nose isn't raised up high enough that air actually gets to specifically get directed underneath the car in the wind tunnel. So, of course, when they're racing, air is going to flow beneath the car. But in the wind tunnel, with most of the cars, if we don't put them on the magnet, the nose is so low that it dips below this first airstream. So this first airstream never gets split. This one, the nose is in the perfect position. So it actually when the air hits it, we can see right there, some is going underneath, some is going over the top. So that's a good car, but that outcome really just depends on what the car, how the car is styled. So now, last car we're going to check out is the other one that that Roughshod is considering. This one I like a lot. This is up there with one of my favorite Hot Wheels designs. We're going to bring this nerve hammer speed all the way down. We got it up to 161 miles per hour, dropping it down. And Roughshod's other pick he's considering is this one, the 24 Hours. And it is, I like the color combination. I like the style of this car. Yeah, it's all come together. I think I have another one of these that is black and with red and possibly like white accents. But this is definitely one of my favorite cars. I don't remember. I think it has raced on the track. Don't remember how it performed, but I like it, and we're going to check it out. It is a plastic body on a metal base. Yeah, on a plastic body on a metal base. Let's see what it does. It looks like in the wind tunnel. We will put it in without raising it up and see what we see. And then if we decide that we need to make that adjustment and lift it up, then we will. But we've got the 24 Hours. It's got some unique lines on it. Now this one, unlike the nerve hammer, that wing is definitely raised up. And I think this one, we're up to 94 miles per hour. This is exactly what I was talking about. The nose of this car is so low that this first stream is only hitting about right there. I think we're definitely going to need to raise this one up because we're not getting enough interaction with the smoke streams. So, grab the magnet, come here, raise this car up. Get it lined up. 24 Hours. And kind of reminds me of that Cadillac hypercar that we've had on the track. Let's see. Oh, I see. There's a little Hot Wheels logo on the bottom, which is preventing this thing. It's kind of leaning to the side just a bit. Hoping that doesn't interfere with what we see all that much. All right. See if we can lock it in right there. And fire this thing up and see what we're going to see. With the 24 Hours. 67 miles per hour, the cruising speed. That air looks to be braking, and this is just at 67 miles per hour, but we can kind of see right here that air is coming up, hitting this driver's canopy and breaking off and going up. You can see it right there. It's a little faint, but you can see it right there. It'll probably become more pronounced as we turn the speed up, so let's see what we can do about that. 94. Oh, come on, this thing. All right, it shut off. We're going to fire it right back up again. The manufacturers, when I've contacted them, because they're pretty responsive, but this is one thing that they have not responded to. Maybe they know that there's no fix other than sending me out a new one, which I don't think that they are interested in doing. So I just have to, it's like one of those things you have to just kind of coax into doing, into working the way it's supposed to. We're up to 121 miles per hour, 134, 147, 161, and the air is completely separated from following along the body of the car. Like, as soon as it gets to this driver's canopy, it's gone. And that is not what you want to see. This car would be, I mean, the amount of drag, like this car, it looks cool. And I want, you want to see from the top? See, that's the thing. From the top view, you don't really get as much of an idea about what is happening. Sometimes you can see some things on the side, but really what tells the story is seeing the air break away from the body of the car. And it is just what we're seeing here. This car is going to, it's not going to perform as much as I would want this car to perform well. I can just looking at this, I can tell it's not going to do it. It may, again, with matchups, it would be competitive against other cars with similarly poor aerodynamic profiles. This isn't the worst we've seen, but it's just not good. You want that air to stay attached. We're pushing this up to 174 miles per hour, and faster speed is just going to make the problem worse. Drag has much more of an impact at higher speeds. At lower speeds, it's not such a big deal. At higher speeds, it is going to make this car look bad. So, Roughshods, he's going with the Nerve Hammer. I think that's the wise choice. The Nerve Hammer, the faster than ever wheels, the pretty good aerodynamic profile. This 24 hours, great looking car. I mean, I really like it, but I'm also interested in cars that can win races. And this one, I'm pretty sure, would have a rough time on the track. I could be wrong. I could possibly be wrong, but we've seen enough races. I've seen enough races specifically on this track to know that cars don't usually overcome bad aerodynamic profiles. The drag just gets them, and you can see it in the races. That last third of the track, the cars with the bad aerodynamic profile start to slow down. Cars like the BlitzSpeeder that can minimize the impact of drag just keep on moving and really take care of business. Yeah, I agree, Socks. The Nerve Hammer is definitely the way to go. And I think if I had to, at the early stage right now, I mean, pretty much we're just looking at the Nerve Hammer and this Maserati, because I don't know which cars I'm going to introduce on Saturday. I don't know if anybody else is going to send in any more picks, but I think that Nerve Hammer is definitely the right call, especially with these faster than ever wheels. The faster than ever wheels are no joke. We see that some of the cars have they have best for track designation, they have track stars designations, but the faster than ever wheels are the only ones that we know that there's an actual mechanical difference, that there is a nickel plated axle that reduces the friction and allows these wheels to spin faster and more freely with less friction. So that is another, but we've had faster than ever wheel cars that have raced and have not necessarily beaten the BlitzSpeeder. The BlitzSpeeder is just another level, but this car might have it. So right now, this is kind of my early pick. I'm looking at this one, but I do have one that I picked up a couple of weeks ago that I'm going to definitely pull out, and we're going to race on Saturday. I'm going to go into storage. I've got a bunch of cars in there that I'm just trying to crank through, and if they're not doubles, then they'll go in. So we're going to have a lot of interesting matchups, as we always do, every Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific on YouTube and Twitch. I am trying to work out something to, because the reason why it's only on YouTube and Twitch is because we need the horizontal view, so that, especially when we race the cars, because if I were to condense it into vertical format, the cars would be so small that you wouldn't be able to see, and they're already they're moving so quickly, they're kind of hard to track unless you're watching on a bigger screen. But I'm going to try pretty soon on Instagram to do the regular Saturday at the Track Live feed, but turn it vertically and see if we can still have that whole full screen view, but it'll be in a vertical format, and then that way we could put it on our Twitch account, which we don't really do too much. Twitch, our TikTok account, which we don't really do too much with, because only recently unlocked the opportunity to do live broadcasts on TikTok. So things to work out, things to think about, but nevertheless, the thing not to think about is what to do on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Pacific. Join us at the Track Live. We're going to be racing these cars. We're going to see if we can take out the BlitzSpeeder. The BlitzSpeeder's just been cruising, getting a little too comfortable being on top, and it's time for some challengers to come up and see if they can knock it off of its championship perch. So that is what we're going to be doing. If you'd like more information about our science program, all about aerodynamics, just visit the website, aerodynamics.com, or follow us on Instagram, AtTheTrack.live. All the information you need is in the bio, and we will be here next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific. We'll be here on Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific, at the Track Live. For all about aerodynamics at the Track Live, Wind Tunnel Wednesday. I am Coach James, and until next time, I will see you at the races.